love a good light gun shooter, me. And what's more than that, I love a good 1990s style arcade light gun shooter even more. So let's have a look at an interesting one that's in development at the moment called Grand Shooter. Cue the Mr. Thundering introductory drum and bass. I was recently contacted by a gent called Tales Sampaio, who's developing a game called Grand Shooter, a 1990s style on-rails light gun game. The game is still in a trial version, and Tales said that he's still making some updates and improving the controls, which is why he's reaching out to arcade fans like me for feedback. The plan is for a Steam release, and he's also working on adaptations for modern light guns, like the Sinden and Gun4IR. Now, along with arcade racers, one of my absolute favourite genres of game from back in the 90s were on-rail light gun shooting games. I've owned light guns for pretty much every major console I've ever owned in the past, going from the Sega Master System all the way up to the original Xbox. And I had a particularly good time actually with the light gun games on the Sega Saturn and the PlayStation 1. In fact, I love light gun games so much I've even got a playlist devoted to them on my YouTube homepage. So I was more than happy to give this a try. So far, I've really enjoyed what I've got to play in this trial version of the game. Tales has certainly nailed that retro Sega Namco 1990s light gun feel. The graphics have been designed to intentionally look like something from the Sega Model 3 arcade board or the Sega Dreamcast. The gameplay style is also very reminiscent of Virtua Cop in the arcade, or Confidential Mission, a home exclusive light gun shooter for the Dreamcast that played and looked very similarly to Virtua Cop, and felt very much like it could have been a spiritual sequel to that game, with targets that highlight the baddies and gradually turn from green to amber to red as they're about to shoot you. Virtua Cop actually ran on the Sega Model 2 board, as well as getting a Saturn and a PS2 port. And Tales has also made an experimental version of the game, with graphics that look a bit more simplistic and polygonified, just like the Model 2 board. I also really dug the deliberately cheesy style acting the cutscenes had, which was very reminiscent of the sort of thing that you'd actually see in the games back then.
Blake, I didn't know who else to call. You are the only one who knows about us.
You did the right thing. Elliot is a dear friend. Cannot let the department find out about the relationship between you two.
Some of the voice acting in those old 90s light gun games was hilariously bad. I initially just played through the game using my mouse and enjoyed it a lot, but I got my aim track light gun out the other day and gave the game a good playthrough again using it. Man, the game is so much fun with a light gun. It really does make the game feel just that much closer to those classic arcade games that it's homaging. I hadn't realised before on my first playthrough that there were also extra side missions you could do once the main stage had been completed. I love that a beach mission full of stuff that you can explode is called Michael's Bay. That's just absolute genius. I loved the nice little touches as well, like a slow-mo mission, where all the bad guys you shoot dramatically fly out the way in slow motion, John Woo style, and the shrieks the bad guys let out when you shoot them, including the odd well-placed use of the occasional Willem scream. There's also a ton of destructible bottles and crockery you can shoot up in the restaurant mission. I always find a bit of wanton carnage of this nature very satisfying. Initially I thought the game seemed like it might be a bit too on the easy side, but the challenge really does ramp up as you play through it. Each stage unlocks reward money that you can spend on upgrading your armoury with different and more powerful weapons like machine guns, shotguns and assault rifles. These definitely make a difference in areas where the difficulty really ramps up. I was stuck on one of the restaurant's harder levels, but I went back and replayed some of the easier missions, acquired some additional cash, got some heavy duty weaponry and was able to progress past it after that. Feedback wise, I don't think there's anything off the top of my head I could really pick fault with at present. I think Tales is onto a winner here, and he seems to have a good grasp on both the mechanics and the aesthetics of the genre, and I look forward to seeing the finished product. Moving the game forward, my suggestion would be to look at the sort of quality of life improvements that companies like Sega, Namco and Konami used to add to their home conversions of arcade light gun games to increase their longevity. Stuff like unlockable minigames, boss rush modes, shooting galleries, original modes with different weapons, that kind of stuff. Which it looks like Tales is already doing with the mini missions he's already put in the game. I think the ability to swap between Sega Model 3/Dreamcast style graphics and Model 2 arcade board graphics is a really nice touch as well. I'd love to see Tales turn his hand to a House of the Dead style game next. So suffice it to say, if you're any kind of a fan of old school light gun games, you should definitely keep your eyes peeled for this when it gets released. I'll add a link to the game's Steam page in the video description. So I'm going to wrap up the review part of the video here, but I am going to finish off the video just with a little bit more gameplay, both in direct capture mode here, and we'll show another level just with me using my gun with it externally recorded. I'm going to fully wrap up everything there talking wise now, so I have been Mr. Thundering, and I will catch you for another video sometime soon. Take care everyone, bye bye.